a little follow-up on game subscriptions and owning your game. Ethical LL. I wish there was a way to mark comments and respond to them with video as YouTube fully, but I know the conversational way is not the way for YouTube. So I hope you people don't mind if I make smaller videos sometimes just as a reply versus long text that just get lost. But their point is, what about GOG or GOG? I call it GOG. Is it GOG? Whatever. Where you get DRM free game copy that you bought. They can't really take that back. They take back that file, can they? Well, but here's the problem, and here's why I think Ubisoft is at least being realistic about it and honest about it in getting used to not owning your game is most modern games simply don't work that well if the service is turned off. Now, we did a bunch of work on our game, the Anacrusis, so that if it goes away, if we stop updating ever and don't like shut everything down, the game still works. It works independently of us. We made sure all the services we moved off of that had a fee attached to them or some kind of subscription. That's a lot of work. But we purposely did that, right? Because we said, okay, no, if you're going to buy our game, you're buying our game without this giant player base. I think it plays really well single player, even plays versus single player. But if you're going to do that, I'm going to respect you enough. It doesn't entirely work offline though. And that was just some work that we just couldn't get to in the way of stack ranking versus the other work. Because for us, it's like, okay, well, you're going to have to be online if you want to play with people anyways, so this is an okay trade-off. I get if someone's mad at me for that one. I get if you're not buying it for that. But equally, that's the truth, is a lot of modern games there's just a lot of work that you can get as a service for free from Steam, from Epic services, from Xbox, that are just free, that just do a lot of work for you that you can offload a bunch of the work, be it matchmaking or stats or tracking your achievements or whatever, right? Like there's just a lot of work that you can put off into the cloud. And so developers do, because that's just a lot easier. When we write to local files, oh my God, you would think just ends up Microsoft has changed from back in the old, Windows 3.1 for life kind of group. Where like writing a file now to local is, you could have security settings, which are good security settings, that will just make that a disaster and a really hard to debug problem, so that we want to push things into the cloud because we just know that'll work. And so that is like the tension and the dynamic from a developer of, if we put our game up on GOG, would you get a benefit from it? No, because it has nothing to do with DRM. We don't have a DRM wrapper around our game. We're not worried about that. It's just, how would it work in that setting if you want to say you're totally offline and that file doesn't work? Now that's us pushing our services into third-party services that as long as Steam exists, you'll be okay. But like if you're Ubisoft or somebody else, you're pushing them into your own services. And so you can own that file, but it's just going to be kind of worthless and not work anymore. I mean, it's not as bad as I posted on iOS the other day. There's an old game that I really, really liked that just doesn't work anymore because the developer didn't keep their $99 a year license up, which I get. But like, that just sucks that we lose those games forever. And so you can have the file, but often in a modern game, having the files is not enough. You need to have everything around it. And that's why I kind of respect the Ubisoft president for being blunt about that is where we're moving, and we're moving there even more, because as gamers expect more out of their games, developers simply can't create those tools themselves or host those tools or even have them locally because of security concerns, that we push them into the cloud and we push them into third-party services where they're off of your computer and they're in the cloud. And, if those went down, I mean, a year ago, we had a bunch of stuff that was dependent on other third-party services that we would not be able to continue paying if and so we had made a choice. We had made a choice that we would not make gameplay changes to go right, because you have to make a trade-off. You have so much time, and we traded that. We, out of respect for people, would rather have the game work if we didn't exist than have the game not work if we didn't exist, but some element be a little better. I think the game is really good where it's at. I'm really happy with our game. We're gonna play it, I think, Thursday with the team, with the group. We played a lot, but I'm saying but those are the kind of choices developers are making, and so you can own your DRM free file, but it doesn't mean you're going to be able to play your game the way you expect to be able to play it. And I am for that. The hard DRM that some people are putting on games and putting on Steam Deck games in particular just is such a step backwards.